Hello everyone and welcome to Learning with Princess Ayesha. I hope you're all doing well and welcome to my channel. This platform previously used to be a channel dedicated solely to practitioners and parents and anybody who have some sort of contact with children and supporting their learning and holistic well-being. However, we've diversified this channel a bit, and this is more tailored to all and sundry basically, and also geared towards, encouraging people who are facing some sort of difficulties in their life as a result of bullying and what have you. So in my previous video, we discussed about cross infection, and then I did mention that the follow-up video will be tailored towards stress. So today we're gonna look at the correlation between a toxic working environments or any toxic environments in general and the impact it has on stress levels in an individual. So stay tuned as I go through this in depth with you. It's gonna be quite lengthy and very detailed, citing myself as an example. So stay tuned and support the channel by subscribing, liking, commenting, and sharing. Thank you. To start off, we need to identify what a toxic working environment is. So, what is a toxic working environment? Well, according to Razul et al., a toxic environment is any form of environment that is unenabling. So it is not enabling. It doesn't allow you to thrive. Similarly, Laskinger et al. 2014 suggests that negative behaviors such as discrimination, bullying, and colleague aggression are prevalent within a toxic environment. Furthermore, within the context of a toxic environment, employees are subjected to verbal, physical, and emotional abuse from teammates or leadership, which can result in conflict and hostility within an organization. So what are some of the causes of a toxic environment? What causes an environment to become toxic? So leadership, for example, is one key factor. So in an organization whereby we have poor leadership, this can result into a toxic environment, particularly if the leader themselves are the perpetrators. So Goldman, 2006, argues that when a leader, a person who is supposed to take control of affairs within an organization, displays a negative and an unacceptable behavior, those under them, so obviously the subjects or the employees within that same organization, are likely to exhibit such behaviors. However, such behaviors by both the leader within that organization as well as those within the organization itself who are directly employed by the organization itself, such behaviors can greatly impact on employee well-being. That is, what is employee well-being? That is a sense of being protected or being satisfied within one's job role. So according to according to a research conducted by Rusidianto 2022, consequently resulting in employees feeling stressed or burnout, but in having low job satisfaction and having lack of trust within the organization itself. And this cuts across within every job setting. So not just this cuts across within every organization, be it a health, environment, what have you, because I mean, poor leadership and unacceptable behavior and bullying and what have you cuts across every organization. So yeah, using myself as a critical example or as a case study, I have been facing issues of bullying within the working environment and across all boards. So I'm gonna go delve in depth as I go along. So consequently, I managed to communicate this with a member of my family, an elderly person, and they advised me to seek help or to talk to, go to the Citizens Advice Bureau. And that is an organization whereby tailored towards citizens or helping people who have issues pertaining to rents, pertaining to, anything basically. So I booked an appointment and went there. Particularly, my matter was more related to bullying at work and how this has impacted me gravely, preventing me from, having the job satisfaction that I require, and also staying longer in a job, because then if a certain job environment I am in that is not enabling, I have to quit, and then it goes on and on and on. So I went there, but I think that was the biggest decision I took. And I'm going to explain, because moving on from there, then when I went there, things just went from, bad to worse. So I'll go more in depth. I've been out of work for a while due to this same bullying issue. So I'm somewhere in 20. So I enrolled on a course with Lewisham College to do a culinary course, cooking. It's a short course because I like to be, engaged, active, don't like being idle. So the experience I had there was very, very terrible, facing discrimination, bullying from the head of culinary, Tanya. She is out of nowhere. This woman kept on picking on me, using sarcastic comments, at a point whereby most of the colleagues kept on looking at her in a way that, what's this woman on about? Because most of the things that she was saying and doing had nothing to do with our course. And anytime she does that, she'll be looking at me. I tolerated this for a while. I ignored her and what have you. It came so bad to the extent that points, I managed to, I think there was one girl, Maria, who took interest in me, as she liked me, more friendly. Sometimes when I come, she'll say, wait for me, let's, go for break and what have you, so everything was fine. However, along the way, it seems like whenever this woman was doing her stuff, I like to, and obviously we know it's being targeted towards me. So I'll tell her that, I'm not here to, quarrel with anybody or whatever. And for some reason, I'm being bullied and what have you. So she will even encourage me and say that, what has she even told me? She's told me to just ignore whatever anybody does to me. And before I know it, would have completed a course and blah, blah, blah. not knowing that this woman, I don't know what Tanya, has been telling fellow colleagues and what have you, in terms of question and answers within the classroom. I will be answering assessments, I'll be doing well and what have you. In fact, I was, performing very well in class, not to blow my own trumpet. But it seems as if I was being hated in the class. So one time, when we were in the kitchen, I think we were about to do some sort of pastry, and China, she asked me to use the egg to do something. I can't quite remember so I cracked. We were in pairs performing the activity. So I did as she was told, and then only for her to later turn back and blame me. Aside that, an incident whereby one student threatened me, Beverly, she threatened to use a pan to hit me. She's been getting on my nerves, being rude to me. I've been ignoring and ignoring and ignoring. And the more I ignore, the more she tries to, get me to react. So one day she threatened to, in fact, I was working where I was, my station, I was there alone. She had to move from one station to where I was. Only she knows what she was, the aim and goal she has. Even though I was trying within my possible means to avoid her. So she kept on, getting on my nerves. I'm trying hard as possible to avoid her, but she kept on going, even to the point that she threatened to hit me with a pan. And I said, I dare her to, because of course I'm human. So you don't expect to continually be bullying me and expect me to be quiet. So I said, I dare her to, and then at that point, I just burst out crying because I don't know what I've done to her. I don't know her from Adam. In fact, I don't know any of them from anywhere. We were all there to do a course. And for her to be picking on me and what have you, it was just beyond imaginable. So I complained to our supervisor, Goran, regarding the issue and what have you. And then he said he was going to handle the issue. And then later, Goran came back to me and said that Tanya, the head of the culinary, has decided to deal with the matter. Can you imagine somebody who doesn't already like me and is going to handle an issue I have with a fellow student? What do you think the turn of events will be? In fact, I wasn't happy when she said she was going to handle it. And of course, your guess is as good as mine. If she dealt with the case in favor of Beverly, the girl who attacked me or who threatened to attack me. This is just one example. So this is a college setting. So this harassment and bullying kept on going on till the end of my course. I'm the type of person, despite the circumstances, I don't quit, especially because I know the reason why I'm there. So I had to just hold my nose till eventually I had to complete the course. The environment was hostile, the bullying was rampant. In fact, it was a hectic experience. But then again, God being so good, I was topping the class and I successfully completed the course. Moving forward, in addition, not only have I faced stressful situations such as being in the college, but even within where I live, from the council as well as neighbors. Let me cite an example. So there's been instances whereby there's been issues whereby members or workers from the council have come into my property and has behaved unethically. For example, there was a tenant on top of me who For some reason, I don't know what the issue is, but there's been leaking. My bathroom roof has been leaking as a result of whatever the tenant on top of me is doing. So I reported this to the council, and they sent somebody over a black male, who, the first time he came in, it was very early in the morning, around I think 8 o'clock, very, very early. And I was getting my youngest son, ready for school. And then he knocked on the door, opened, and he said he's here to do the roofing. And I said it's quite early, and that he wanted to come in with his stuff. And I said, no, I can't allow him in because I'm getting ready to go and drop my son in school. So he should bear with me, he should wait. And when I come, he would obviously do whatever he needs to, whatever. But when he came, he barged. First of all, he came in, barged into the, I knew somebody was coming to fix the roof, so the roof in the bathroom. So I had closed the door in all the rooms. And then the proximity of the entrance door to my dwelling or my residence to that of my the bedroom of one of my sons is very, like a minute's walk. So when he came in, he barged into the bedroom that was locked. And then I asked him, why did he do that? And he, of course, he's supposed to wait for me to direct him wherever he's going. And he said he's sorry, but he thought that was the bathroom, which doesn't make sense because there's no property whereby when you come from the entrance, the first place you enter will be the bathroom. It doesn't make sense. So this is one of the situation. So I asked him, I told him that it's quite early, so I'm afraid he will have to go out. He cannot, start off whatever job he's here to do, because as you can see, I'm getting ready to drop off my son at school. And he said that's fine. He can still be in the property whilst I drop off my son. I said, no, I cannot allow him in the property. He needs to go out. And then he said, what do I take him for? And do I think that he's going to take anything here? And I said, he shouldn't put words into my mouth because I didn't say that. So he went out. I locked my door, took my son to school, and came back. Came to do the job. He kept on prying and asking me questions that is not even related to whatever job he came to do. So this is one scenario. Another scenario from the council is whereby a plumber came to do some work in the kitchen and happened to, leave only the hot water running, and obviously he turned off the cold water. So I was left, and unfortunately I couldn't check before he left. So I only noticed this when he was no longer in the premises. So we were only left with hot water in the kitchen and no cold water. I managed to put back the cold water myself. So this is another example. And I am a permanent resident, so I'm not a temporary resident whereby every 2 years they'll come and do inspection or what have you. So this year in particular, there was this Haruna King, whatever, from the cook claims to be from the council. He never used to be my housing officer, yet he said the person who used to be is no longer, so he's taking over. He came, did whatever, his checks or whatever, went around. I don't know. I complained about issue of mold and what have you, only to come back the next moment. I've got a letter from spokesmaid acting on behalf of the council, insisting on installing an alarm system here in the property. And it doesn't make sense because we have alarm system that is already working, and the rate at which they were insistent is very, very suspicious. And so I was reluctant, especially I've also had instances whereby workers from the council will come and personal things that I've discussed with my children, they will end up discussing it. So I know already they've managed to install some sort of camera here, and hence they need anything I say, they are able to obviously retrieve and what have you. So much unprofessionality. So I refused on this occasion, and they were insistent it's even to the point of threatening to evict me if I don't allow this. I've also had instances whereby the Southern Council, have used my address to send letter to a neighbor in the ground floor, because before you get to where I am, you have to obviously pass through the ground floor to come up. So I don't know why those use my address for a tenant that is on the ground floor. I did manage to give that letter to the tenants, and then that same tenant used my address to make an order on TikTok. And then when the postman came and knocked on my door, fortunately I was in the house, and I don't remember placing an order of that sort. So I checked the details, and it wasn't mine. It was for the tenants on the ground floor. So I didn't receive it. I didn't accept it. I told the postman that this is not my order and that's not my name. However, they are using my address. So because I didn't receive the package, the postman had to scan the parcel and mark it as I didn't receive it. A couple of days later, I was going out to shop, and then I knocked on the tenant's door to have a word with them. Fortunately, the lady in question that used my address wasn't at home, but the partner was there. So I liaised whatever issue it is with him, and then I pleaded with him to tell the partner not to use my address orders, because she did. And so he asked me if I received the parcel, and I said no. I asked the old postman to take it back because obviously it's not my parcel. Very furious, stating that if I didn't receive the parcel, what was the essence of me coming to ask them not to use the address, since I didn't receive it anyway. It was very abusive, verbally abusive, and what have you. And the wife also didn't, or the partner wasn't also helpful in that regard, because I think it's not just another issue with this tenant. There was also another tenant, that's a male tenant, who very furious, stating that my children are making noise as a result of playing, started cussing me and swearing at me and all that. Again, there's this strange woman called Amara Adeniran, and I think she works at the Raya Oak Children's and Family Center, to send her, because obviously she doesn't live here, and she's doing this intentionally, because there's been occasions whereby I googled the email address for that place. I sent an email saying that this person does not live here, so she should desist from using my address to be sending letters. To no avail. Also, I personally has returned the letters back. I've written back to sender, and I've put it in the post. I'll put a link of the evidence in this video. Still to no avail, because she still keeps on sending the letters, sending it. And there's been occasions where I've personally told the person or postman that this person doesn't live here, and I've returned the letter she kept, so they shouldn't deliver it to this address. But this has proven on deaf ears, or falling on deaf ears. Go on the issue of the job center, or the working environments. So with the workers from Southern Council, anytime they come and misbehave, and I said I'm going to report it to the council, they'll say, no, I shouldn't. So ask yourself, why don't they want me to report to the council? To the working environment. So I've been out of work for some years due to the bullying and what have you. And so then I had to go to the job center. And obviously, they have to ask reasons why I was out of work and all that. And I told them due to bullying and what have you. And so I was, part of their criteria is that you have to be actively looking for work, applying for work and what have you. So which I was. I applied to a couple of settings, nurseries, and along the way, I think they sent my information to a couple of organization. Because of what I've been facing at work, I did express interest in setting up my own business, so that I can be in work full term and also obviously contribute to the economy. Wouldn't have that, so they passed my information to, I think, Restart, because they sent me a WhatsApp message regarding them. What they will be able, they are the right people to help me with work and like to end my self-employment. And then I could see that we were not going anywhere, so I stopped attending the Restart place. A couple of months down the line, I received a WhatsApp message from a company called Chinese saying that if offered me a job. So prior to that message, I've told you guys that I've applied for a couple of jobs. Whatever was the necessary procedure was followed and blah blah blah. I started work. So it's an agency. Chinese is an agency whereby they will send you to settings that require workers. One of the place they sent me to was Bright Horizons in Greenwich. There I went to the setting. The manager there told me that if I have any issue or whatsoever, I should let her know, and that she doesn't want me to feel as if I'm not wanted there. So I said okay, and which was a bit strange to say to somebody on the first day. However, I said okay. I started work, and at the end of my shifts, obviously getting ready to go home, I saw the manager and the rest of the staff grouped up in a corner gossiping. I told them I was leaving, and I said my goodbye and left. The following morning, I came to work as normal, and there was this particular girl, a Nigerian. There were about 5 in total at the Greenwich branch. She kept on, picking on me. Initially, she pretended to be like a friendly type, oh, hello, blah, blah, what have you. Anytime I'm in the setting, she'll come in, passing off sarcastic comments of you, giggling with others, and what have you. It went on for a while, and it got so bad to the point that hack my activity and then set up her activity. Another circumstances whereby I'm teaching the children, you come and stand there and then be making what I'm saying to the kids. It was so bad that at a point I broke down in tears because it was too much. I don't know her from anywhere, yet she's picking on me. At the onset of this video, I did say that the manager said that if I have any issue, I should report it, and that's exactly what I did. The manager was telling nothing she could do because Deborah is from another agency. Hands are tied. The kind of treatment I was receiving, I asked Chinese, the agency, provide me with my application. I wasn't convinced I had applied to them. Unfortunately, they weren't able to provide me with the evidence. I could have stopped immediately, but I proceeded to work because I needed to build. One day when I went to work, there was a child that was poorly, baby room. The leader tried to administer it, but unfortunately she couldn't. I told her what to do, and she didn't, whereby we had a new baby on crying uncontrollably. The woman who tried to console the child, but she wouldn't have it. The old lady, if I could have the child and give it a try to the child, and the child eventually fell asleep. Before putting the child in the cot, I gave the child a peg. I was wearing lipstick on my lip. I think the lipstick marks was on the cheek of the child. To sleep, and later the manager at the set, the Greenwich branch, Bright Horizon room leader, picture of the child face. Child wakes up, they will examine the face. Hear anything in that regard. So that's what happened later. Days after, when I went to work, tall female black lady me and hit me. So there, I did not like that, and she desisted from doing that. Laughed and said she was joking with me. Some of the things I face in settings when I'm working in settings. In the Greenwich branch, when I came in, I was allocated a baby room to work in the baby room. Mel, the deputy manager. The baby room, you are not allowed to wear shoes. I was not told this the day before, so I didn't bring a shoe cover. I also claim they don't have a shoe cover, considering they have a baby room. That's strange. I didn't have socks on, so I was working with my bare feet, to be quite honest. Uncomfortable. The floor was also cold. Towards the end of my shift, the room leader asked me to the room that my shoe was in. I had to leave the room to go to the kitchen to prepare that milk. In terms of health and safety, I can't go to the kitchen with bare feet. Taking the milk, I brought it in, and it was given to the child. Upon walking to where my shoes were, I noticed that the room leader and the rest of the staff grouped in one corner and were looking at me. To put my feet inside my black Lacoste trainers. My feet was not going. It was tighter than when I came in the morning. Remove my feet to check what is going on. That somebody has intentionally put children's pink and orange striped socks inside my trainers, resulting in me not being able to wear my trainers. Armed at this, I removed the socks and threw it in the room. Then I didn't say anything, and I said goodbye. I said goodbye to them and left. The day when I came, I was allocated the same baby room again. The room leader that today I came prepared. I brought my own shoe covers. The fact that yesterday, when somebody intentionally put a child's socks in my Lacoste trainers. I said these incidents to the Chinese agency, and then they said they'll liaise with the Greenwich branch, Bright Horizons, and they'll have this looked into. Meanwhile, they are going to send me to the same company, Bright Horizons, but in a different branch, the Lee branch. First day in the Lee branch, when I got there, obviously I have to sign in to indicate that I attended, because for you to be paid, you need to provide your sheets and that has been signed for them to pay. And the manager there asked me if I had my phone. I said no, and so I went to work. Attend to the children and what have you. I went about my job. Funny enough, at the end of the day, before I left the premises, I normally keep my bag and jacket in the staff room. So after I finished my shift, I went for my bag as well as my jacket. But then I noticed that somebody had tampered with my bag because it was slightly open. I was very puzzled at this. Didn't understand why somebody would go into my bag, because it's very unprofessional, unethical. Assume that I don't know whether what I told them about me not having my phone. Perhaps that is I don't know, but that's even not an excuse for you to go into somebody's bag. I just couldn't understand what was actually going on, because considering the surrounding of me, or the circumstances surrounding me getting that job with the agency in the first place, eventually I got back to the agency and also liaised whatever was going on. As in regards to the outcome, they came back, and I think it's a setup. And they know exactly what they are doing, because it just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. Eventually, I had to leave the job altogether, because in line with the scriptures at Proverbs 22 verse 3, it said the shrewd is the one that sees the calamity and begins to conceal himself. That's my complaints and what have you. Uncomfortable. Mention, guys, that at the Greenwich branch, these children were saying to me were very, 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 and you wonder where they are getting whoever is feeding them with those kind of words. I quit working with the Chinese as well at my own children's school. This is still going on there. Parents, again, they are everywhere. I find myself, I face this issue. To my work, I contacted a previous work with in the setting called Little it is now called Montessori Nursery. It's a Nigerian. At a point cried with me in the set to see the maltreatment I was going through. She felt my pain. I thought she had my interest at heart. After many years of living that setting, see her as somebody who had my interest at heart. To a job, out of work for some time, but in regards to any job to get back to me. January 2025, asking me my level of qualification back. So Miss J wants me to work on Wednesday. Goes on, she'll add another day to it. The reason why she wants me to come and work with her is that I'm very professional and good at my work. In the past, I used to have a YouTube channel, Nursery channel. So she used to watch me a lot. Delete that channel because my videos for the wrong reason. It mentioned that me to watch how staff are performing, whether they are doing their job properly. Give me the details of the workplace to attend. There I went. A white Englishman dressed up in a biker, those biker people, bike. He was dressed like that. I mean, whether the setting wasn't open. Responded by saying, question suggests that it been no. The response and the question, I smelled something fishy. To even starting the job, I already had a dream about what was going to happen at the setting. That's the Treasured Kids Nursery at Lewisham. This with a family member. Amazed that when I have dreams, it comes true. I recall telling Miss J about the bad experiences I had at Bright Horizons and Tiny's. Encouraged me by saying that I shouldn't give up. First day I started work at Treasure Kids. Were going about their thing. It was a bit hostile when I went in. It's like they weren't expecting me. I don't know what. The fact that she's giving me the address and to give me the green light to go. I myself to them and told them that Miss J asked me to come. Then observed them as they work. Days passed on my job, gave the feedback, whatever I liaised with the manager, creating some sort of hostility between me and the staff. Staff was agitated and asked understand why I'm working there. Back and liaised this to the director manager. Story short, hostility to the point that I come in the morning. I haven't set up any activity for the children. When I came, I planned for the children. I decided to set up. The deputy manager became very furious, on top of her voice, me and hit me. Books on the table, but it doesn't look set up for an activity. So why did I remove the book from the table? That's what I had planned for the children. And she had bent on, inciting me to fight. She threatened to unalive me, so to smash my head. She will lose her job. Staff came, then, trashed my activity on the floor. Had an activity planned for the children. She didn't even set up any activities. I did it. I was professional. Early in the morning, we had to go to the park. She was still being aggressive and returned to the setting, fuming with anger to diffuse the situation. Maker called her name, Isioma. All was to get me agitated, to provoke me to a fight. In her name, she got so ashamed and rushed. She said I shouldn't call her name. When she had calmed down, she said anything, but she cannot unalive me. That is what she said. As this was happening, other staff members were present. One of the staff members said not to say anything. Liaised this to a meeting. The issue was discussed briefly. Mama denied threatening to unalive me. Mentioning the people there, witnesses, denied. A serious situation. This is what I face constantly. When I asked her to let her apologize to me, that's the issue. Actually, the matter was swept under the carpet. Added Fridays also to my days. Fridays, she normally works on Fridays, on later in the day. I've been with the children for a while, so I will be with the children till she comes in the afternoon. Whatsoever, I noticed she also will pass on sarcastic comments or ignore, and sometimes I also let they. Some people were having a celebration. She asked me initially to win, But later she called me to come and have a look, saying, you know, like talking just to see my view on whatever she was saying. I didn't say anything. I just ignored and came back and I started attending to what I was already doing. That incident, she said she needs a picture of me took. I noticed that as the days and weeks passed, she didn't use it to what she intended it to. A message to say that I don't want her to use my to send my pictures to third parties. Which third parties I was referring to? For anything that is not meant to, or what she told me she was going to use it, she needs to use it for that. Other than that, no, she shouldn't use it. She keeps calling me certain titles. Query as to why she keeps calling me those titles. She couldn't give me a favorable response. I said it's as if somebody has recruited her to be querying me. Said that she will not mind me. I want to quit this. Say I want to quit her behavior change towards me. She mentioned that when I started working at Treasure Kids, see so much unprofessional behavior from the staff. Example, of staff gave hot food to a child. Even when I was working with her, telling the child to blow the food when it cools, the child should eat it. And as if that is not enough, she had turned her back towards the child. They're observing. I stood up and had to blow the food till it cools down so the child can eat it. Catered this to the director. It was held and this was discussed. This member of staff denied that. Instances where children has been left unattended was that I took some of the children to their hands and then another member of staff was with the rest. But when I came back, the member of staff had left the children into the kitchen. I heard about this. She got offended and decided to shout that she did that. She said she could no longer work with me. Professional, I'm there to work and have the best interests of children at heart. Decided to chip this in. Noticed that I wanted to quit to the point of getting questions which got nothing to do with my job description. The children were also being coached. Working with these children, all of a sudden, this, right, puzzling. To show that I never trust anybody, to be quite honest. You know, showing that, claiming that she has my interests at heart. Shocked. When I started the job, I had done nothing but to help. Within the child care, in the setting, many of the policies that the new policy. So when I started, so many activities with the children, back was this ill treatment. It's my experience with the work setting. Individual one needs to work. The environment is unenabling. Do I work? Make ends meet. I've created a little garden. Higher cost of living, what have you. Then with the higher cost of living as well. All these things I've just expressed here. The Jehovah's Witnesses elders in return, what was being discussed with them, responding to your problems. How somebody confides in you, help the situation, gets them for a while. I pass patrollia, my phone and leave a voice note. Want more information to go and use it to preach. They them to stop calling at my door. Personally has seen a boy's wife, elderly woman, in front of my own door. Others about this, but it fell on deaf ears. They pretend as if they don't know you. Call at your door, like seriously. Been stalked by other nationalities as well. You know, even in the bus. Go shopping. I normally like instance feeding the birds. We're going shopping. Stood there, possibly and giggling. Stood there watching me feeding the birds. At the park. So anywhere they'll see me, at any given point in time. Action, which I always don't give them anyway. In the health sector, this is where I've taken my dental treatment and the reception that has been poor. So, I've also had a fair share of horrible experiences from my GP. Instances whereby I've been treated very badly. I was referred to Lister practice for a smear test, only for lady to ask me inappropriate questions. The experience there was terrible. The lady there was an English lady. I've inserted the evidence of the letter. So I've attached a screenshot in green of evidence of a message of another job offer that I haven't even applied for. I've also sent evidence of the letter and me sending it back to sender. The only solution in all this is to leave such a toxic environment so that it does not impact on your overall well-being. They normally say, you know, I've been put on the priority register or something like that, which doesn't make sense because I don't have any underlying health issue or whatever. And they also mentioned that within the property there's somebody on oxygen, and none of us within the property has oxygen. So on the day of this, the so-called, in quotes, cylinder installation, it was actually the oxygen machine that they were going to bring. But you see, God being so good, I managed to fish them out. And that didn't happen. And it's like they were bent at they were bent on installing that oxygen machine. And of course, I didn't allow that. So this is how manipulative, cunning, and lying, you know, how they can lie just to get their ways. So I will encourage you guys to always leave matters in God's hands and always pray. Always pray, because most of the things that these people intend to do, for some reason, they are revealed in dreams. So when you pray and you are closer to God, definitely whatever people intend to do, He reveals it. He will reveal it to you. So that is how come the oxygen machine never got installed. You know, this morning, and this is what somebody, a neighbor, has put inside my garden. Look at it. As you can see, it has burnt my leaf, and you can also see that there's a flammable pet here as well as my clothes. So what do you think will happen? A neighbor just threw this into my garden. I'll leave this for you guys to do the analysis. This is what I face on a daily basis: bullying from neighbors and what have you.